Is Blue Lock going to be ending soon? As of volume 35 of Blue Lock, there is a lot of speculation going around on whether we are close to the end of the story. The artist for the Blue Lock manga, Nomura, released a statement along with the release of volume 35, and it reads as follows. Up to this point, we've navigated many twists and turns, constantly asking ourselves, like this, is it going to turn out like this, as we all move forward and build this story. Now that it has begun, I believe we are heading towards the conclusion that lies ahead. Even if it's imperfect, I intend to proceed carefully, one step at a time, so that what we ultimately create will be etched into a corner of all of your memories. And now, kick off. Now, this may be an inaccurate translation or anything else along these lines, but this is a scary statement, I'm not gonna lie, because we're in the Under-20s World Cup. And this story is about Japan winning the World Cup, not the Under-20s World Cup. So I'm really scared that we may end up ending on the Under-20 World Cup and then get some kind of time skip, because that's not uncommon in a lot of these sports series. As we know, Aoashi just recently ended, and it ended with him being a teenager. I really don't know how I feel about this, because I want this to go on for such a long time because I love the story of Blue Lock, but at the same time, how many things can they really do differently before it starts to feel repetitive? Like, for example, other than the 3-goal limit that we had in the Neo-Egoist League, if we was given a club arc, how would that feel different to the Neo-Egoist League? And then currently we're in the Under-20s World Cup, how would the actual World Cup feel differently to the Under-20s World Cup? You know? But at the same time, the author has set up so much with the World Cup. It's quite literally the basis of the story. Not only that, during the Ubers match where we had the two masters talking, and they were saying if Isagi and Burū keep growing the way they do, Japan winning a World Cup may not be too far. Not only that, during the PXG versus BM match, we had Isagi make his declaration on the world stage to Noa, where he says, "I'm coming for you. Japan will win the World Cup." Like, we've got this final antagonist, Noa, the best striker in the world, set up. How can we end at the Under-20s World Cup with Loki? Come on! And I would hate it even more if it's a case where we get the Under-20s World Cup and then we get a time skip to the World Cup. That would be terrible, in my opinion. And even worse than that, if like the actual World Cup gets simulated and we're just told that Japan wins, that would ruin the story for me. And I understand that we're over 300 chapters into this story, but I feel like there's just so much more that can be done with a lot of these characters. Like someone like Shido, we don't know his backstory, we haven't got a deep dive into his character, and he's one of the most prominent characters he's been top 3 since we met him. I can't imagine all of these different characters that we have in Blue Lock, plus the people that we are going to be introduced to during this Under-20s World Cup. I can't imagine all of their story arcs and characters to be wrapped up in this arc. Because if that's the case, how long is this arc going to be? Because to be fair, we did just come out of the Neo-Egoist League, and that was like 147 chapters or something crazy like that. So are we in for an even longer arc, or like, is there going to be a spanner in the works? What's going to happen? And let's say for argument's sake that the Under-20s World Cup is the final arc of Blue Lock. Does that mean Blue Lock is going to beat France? Because we got Loki here, and like, he's world class. So like, what type of power cliffing are we going to be doing in this arc that somehow gets us over France, where they've got Loki, obviously Charles is going to be getting better and better, and I'm sure they've got a lot more young talented players. That might be crazy too. I personally think that Blue Lock has the capability to continue going on for hundreds of chapters. Like, we're at chapter 313. We could go 400, 500, 600. I feel like we could go up there. Like, I want to see the Blue Lock characters get their run back with the World 5. The World 5 punked them back in between 2nd and 3rd selection. Let's get that run back when we're up to that level now. I don't want this story to end when these guys are between the ages of 16 to 19, and then we get, what, like a fucking 10-year time skip, and Isagi's the best striker in the world, and Noa's already retired after being defeated by Isagi in the World Cup. Nobody wants to see that, man. Hey, but if you give me a little a time skip, if you do give me a time skip, and then you tell me Burū's the top goal scorer of his league, or he's the top goal scorer in Europe, we might be working with something. I might be able to accept that if you give my boy Burū some glaze off screen. Now, for my personal desires, if this is the final arc, if that boy Renatoshi Kaneshiro, let's get him out of here. Cripple him! Let's get him out of here. I need him out the way. Please give my boy Burū some more focus. The Under 20 World Cup has already started and he's on the bench. You guys know from the last video I made or the video before that, I fucking hate this Joker stuff. Give my boy Burū some more, please. He's worth 150 million. He's one of the best strikers. Like, come on. He made a declaration to Snuffy. Kaneshiro, you literally had Snuffy, the best player in the world. You had him talk to me and all the other people that are reading this story and say that if Burū and Isagi keep growing at the pace they are, then Japan winning the World Cup is not far-fetched. So like, you're setting my boy up for greatness and he's even growing to a level faster than Snuffy could ever predict. Give him something, please. Even if it's a new rivalry, right? He's got Nagi and he's got Isagi. Give me a Burū and Shido rivalry that will cook. I feel like Shido and Burū have been so similar throughout the story, whether it's in their actions or their mindset, where we see that Shido was the Joker for the under 20s team, Burū was the Joker for Blue Lock. They both subbed in and their entire purpose was to create chaos on the field, and they showed up when their team needed them. Look at the Neo-Egoist League. We've got them in 150 million and 160 million. They're that close, and yet these two characters, Burū and Shido, have never even acknowledged each other in this story. And we're 313 chapters in. Give me something! Bro, we need more rivalries in this story that do not include Isagi. Isagi rivalries are great, where it's Isagi Kaiser, Isagi Rin, Isagi Burū, Isagi, they're great. But like, I feel like the cast would be so much better when you give me rivalries that don't include Isagi, so that I can be more invested in things other than him. Especially if Blue Lock is ending soon. This is the last chance. Give me these new rivalries, please, bro, please. I'm begging, because like, what's Kunigami gonna be this arc, you know? Right? Like, his rivalry with Shido is one of the worst things I saw in the Neo-Egoist League. That shit was trash. So like, Kunigami, let's give him his ego back. He becomes the hero again, and give him someone to compete with. If it's Chigiri, if it's Shido, give him something. Oh yeah, if this is like towards the end of Blue Lock, do not cripple my boy Chigiri. Let's forget about that. If you're gonna push on the story for 200, 300 chapters and you have to cripple Chigiri, then do what you gotta do. But if this is the last arc, let my boy Chigiri shine one more time, because he was feasting in the Neo-Egoist League and I love to see that. And now Ego's already put him at right back, which I don't like. Don't take his legs. Please do not take his legs, but you can take Yukimiya's sight. That's what you can do. You can take Yukimiya's sight and actually take all the pain of Chigiri's leg that he had back in the day, double it, and give it to Bachida. Yeah, give it to Bachida. Also, I'ma need this Kaneshiro, by the way. If this is the final arc, can I get some Ego backstory? I need to know the history between Ego and Noah. I need to know why the masters know about Ego, but like, nobody else seems to. He seems to be like a ghost of the past, since we know he was Noah's first rival. Who is this guy? Ego is literally one of the most interesting characters in this story, who we literally know nothing about. He's just this crazy guy who's trying to make Japan the best and create the best striker, and he has history with the best striker in the world. I'm not sure how Kaneshiro would fit in an Ego backstory or like Ego character work in this arc, but fit it in. Because I've been waiting for years at this point for some Ego sauce. Now that I'm making this video, all these different things are just flooding into my head. Ray Dark! Like, Ray Dark! And we got some shit like cooking with him? This guy's clearly evil. He's got an agenda of some sort. He freed Kaiser out of prison, put him on a team and made him who he is. Where's Ray Dark at? What's he plotting? With how big I expect this arc to be, here is a list of the characters that I expect to get good focus this arc, if this is the end. So obviously, starting off, Isagi, the main character, he's gonna get the most focus in every arc he's in, like that's standard. Next, this is me. I need something for my boy Burū. I don't care what it is, but give him some proper focus. Because like, the Neo-Egoist League was a 4-year arc, and we obviously, because it's game by game, we only get that Ubers period. So like, there's not been a lot of Burū content over the last 5 years. And especially since we were setting up the future with him and Isagi as rivals, I'm not even saying you have to make him the main rival. That's what I want, but I'm not delusional anymore. So just give him something, please. Shido. We need Shido focus. I want to know his origins. I want to know what form the current mindset that he has. Please give me Shido focus in this arc. Next is Bunny. We've seen these scars on his face. We know he has history with Sayatoshi. Give me that. I already know we're getting that, so I'm excited to see. Next we have Kaiser. Now we know he was going through a transformation throughout the entire Neo Eagles League. It was so good. We know that Ness has gone through his full transformation and he is sticking by Kaiser so that Kaiser can view himself as human. We know the final pass of the BM vs PXG game from Ness was to the Kaiser that he was trying to become. Now with the partnership of Ness and him valuing himself and valuing others, this Kaiser we're gonna see in this Under-20s World Cup partnered up with Ness is going to be scary. Next, Bachida. I personally don't give a fuck, but Bachida, in terms of like his character, he hasn't gotten better in years. He's kind of just like the cool guy that does skills. That's really Bachida at this point. I would appreciate it if Bachida got a lot more conflict in the story that was actually shown on screen and visibly affected him. Then we got Sayatoshi. Obviously he's got the history with Bunny, but I also need that relationship with Rin to get a deep dive this arc and have this conflict resolved. So next on the list is also Rin for the same reasons. Then we have Kunigami. Now he was done dirty in the Neo Egoist League, but I recognize that they was setting things up for the future, where Isagi said his ego was still burning, so I knew something was coming for the future. Give that to me now. We don't like emo Kunigami. Me and you hate emo Kunigami. Bring back the hero. Because Kunigami in those first two selections was in my top 3 favorite characters. I loved Kunigami. And then the last two being Nagi and Reo. Now it doesn't have to be Nagi and Reo together, but like I'm excited to see Reo's new growth with like Nagi out the way, at least until Nagi plays a game. And with Nagi exploring him forming his ego, finally he's playing under the Baratsuta trio. What type of villain is Nagi gonna come back being? And do not bring Kira with you. But those are the guys I want the most focus for. And low-key, it's time. Low-key, you're here bottom feeding when you're a world class player. You've dropped down to play in the Under-20s World Cup. Let me get some character work on you before we pack you up. But hey, this is me just rambling. The statement could be mistranslated. There could be any amount of variables that change this. Because if Blue Lock is ending soon, what are we gonna read? We're gonna have to get a job. We must seek employment, and we don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. You guys don't want to do that. So let's pray Blue Lock goes on for hundreds of more chapters. But for now, that's me. Let me know what you think in the comments. Your boy Crocodile's out. Peace.